Basically, when we grow the things in our gardens, we're taking things out of the soil when we harvest those. So the soil gives that life to the vegetables, which is great for us, and we love that. But we also need to care for the soil and to give back the nutrients and the organic matter that the soil gives to the plants that we grow. So we cover crop to be able to reinvest in the soil, to help build the soil, put nutrients back in the soil. Today we're using 2 cover crops, a crimson clover and a winter rye. And we're mixing those together, mostly for the dual benefits that both of them give. So the winter rye will grow up, it will produce organic matter, the roots will grow deep, prevent erosion, and then the crimson clover will also produce some organic matter, but one of the key benefits of crimson clover and other clovers, other legumes, is that they help to fix nitrogen in the soil. So they take nitrogen that's available from the air and they'll fix it in the soil through a symbiotic kind of process with microbes that are in the soil. We're also going to kind of give it a little bit of a kickstart through an organic inoculant, which is basically just that microbial life in a powder form. And we'll cover the crimson clover with that before we plant it and sow it. So we'll just kind of scatter those seeds after we've tilled everything, and then we'll just rake them all in and then water it in. So we're operating on the scale of maybe just a few thousand square feet. But this can also be used on acre-sized farms, several acres of farms. The crimson clover we're sowing at a ½ pound per about 1,000 square feet of garden bed, but you can also scale that up to be about 20 to 40 pounds per acre. Also, for the inoculant, if you're going to inoculate that, then you would use about 8½ ounces of water per 50 pounds of seed, mixed with 2½ ounces of the inoculant, the powder stuff itself. And then the rye uses about 2 or 2½ pounds per about 1,000 square feet, and it has about 50 to 60 pounds per acre that you can use. And when you mix them together, we just use both of those quantities the same. It's just great to be able to look out at a winter garden and see the stand of clover or rye or oats or other kind of things that have grown up and just kind of covered the garden. Yeah, so some of those things you could actually let grow up to seed, and when they're at the age of bearing seed, then you could actually collect those seeds and save that for your cover crop for the next year. It usually takes a lot of plants to be able to produce seed, just because these are really the seed is usually harvested on a much larger scale. But it's really fun to kind of get to learn how to do that, and if you have a large enough scale, you could at least save some of your seed on the cover crop to be able to do that. I know other folks who would allow animals to go in and forage on some of that, so they're also dropping their manure while they're foraging on that cover crop, and then that, instead of having to mow the cover crop down, they're eating that back. You're giving nutrients to the animals, and the animals are giving their nutrients by way of manure back into your garden.